course. Hi, everybody. My name is Chris Cresswell. I sing and play guitar in Hot Water Music and the Flatliners.
Fabulous. Nice to have you here. It's hard to believe that hot water music has been around for 30 years now. How does it feel to have reached such a huge milestone in the band's career?
It's pretty amazing. I mean, my involvement with the band started in 2017, so I have like a newer kind of look at the last few years of the band. But before that, I was a massive, massive fan. I think that's no surprise to anyone who knows me or my band, the Flatliners. Hot Water was always a big kind of beacon, for influence on our band. So being able to join one of your favorite bands is not something that happens every day, and it's a pretty special thing. And seeing this band that I love, reach 30 years is pretty incredible. Seeing any band reach 30 years is impressive. But when you kind of learn and know about things, behind the scenes and everything, and just what these people in this band have gone through over all those years, it's pretty amazing. The 30 years is here. It's great. I mean, all the celebrations we've been doing so far on the road it's been great. It's been awesome.
Oh, awesome. And speaking of Flatliners as well and hot water music, what do you think is the key to keeping these bands together so long?
You know what? I think it's probably a case by case scenario. But there is an interesting kind of through line with both of those bands in that, like, aside from my addition to Hot Water Music, like the lineups for these bands has always been one thing. You know what I mean? Like no one's really there's been shows, where if you're gigging so much, like if someone's sick or someone has a wedding they can't miss or something, like life basically around the band, like
Yeah.
that will intervene whether you'd like it to or not. And then you got buddies that fill in and stuff like that. But like the nucleus of the bands and like them, these bands writing music and all this kind of stuff, it's always been this core group of people. Flats has been the same lineup the whole time. Hot Water has been the same lineup the whole time, and then plus me later
Yeah.
on, right? So no one's been removed, like Wallard is still very much in the band and writing and on records, and it's beautiful, right? So I think a lot of it is just trusting each other. I think a lot of where that like longevity of a band comes from, especially in these scenarios where it's like the same lineup essentially in these ways, is trusting each other, is communication, and really just like making sure you're friends before anything else. That is huge. Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. So it definitely sounds like you guys all understand. You're all on the same wavelength that, life can get in the way sometimes, and it's all just about how you guys communicate and manage that.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like the wavelength, we can be on different wavelengths from time to time, of course, but there is this kind of like common bond. There is this, or maybe it's the common struggle sometimes too, but it's like it's a thing that still brings everyone together. And yeah, I think that it's a life that a lot of people, on the planet would understand, because there's a lot of people in a lot of bands, or just not even in bands, but working on the road and everything like that. But there's more people out there that might not truly understand what goes into it. You know what I mean? So it's a funny way to live. So when you find your people to kind of roll through life with doing this weird thing,
Mhm.
it's important. Like, and it's a lucky thing to be able to get to like hold on to them.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Vows marks another chapter in your long history. What makes this album stand out to you compared to the others you've released?
I mean, it is a special thing to get to release a record in conjunction with a band's 30th anniversary, and it be so well received. It's been amazing feeling the love from Hot Water Music fans on how they've been connecting with those songs and everything. I mean, I don't know. I can really only truly speak to the last two records that I've been on, right? But I think that I could speak for all the guys when I say that um, I doubt that anyone in this band ever thought the band would get to the 30-year mark.
Yeah, yeah.
And if they did, I wonder if anyone would think like there's this banger of a record this kind of deep into a catalog. I mean, we're 10 records in, like it's pretty wild. It's so much of that is out of a band's hands. I think so much of that is in the hands of the fan base, which, for a person like me coming into the fold later on, everyone has been very supportive of, and like very nurturing of that situation, because it's a bit of a unique one where you know, you have a member not touring anymore, but still heavily involved in writing and records and stuff, and having a new person come in and play those songs live, it changes a bit of the song's live identity, you know.
Definitely.
But this fan base, just like the people in this band, and just like the band itself, are pretty resilient. You know what I mean? And I do have the ability to like wear like my fan hat first when I talk about this band, and then like later on, like put my band member hat on. So I don't know which part it comes from, but I definitely think Vows rocks. And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just think it's, I don't know, like we worked our asses off on those songs. Like, and I mean, it was a pretty quick turnaround after Feel the Void. That came out in 2022, you know, and then
Yeah.
2 years later, you know, Vows is out. So, and in between there's a bunch of touring and this and that. So yeah, it's we definitely worked hard on these songs, and I think we're just fired up because the band has the ability to still play for the people that love their music and
Yeah.
still want, and like those people that love the band's music still, I think, are welcoming and supportive of the band trying new stuff or just like digging deeper, I guess, you know. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
liberating.
In talking about the fans as well, how was your, it sounds like it was pretty positive, but how was your transition going into the band? Were you well received at all times, or?
I mean, to be honest, like I think I can mostly say yeah. Um, I'm sure there's no doubt in my mind that there's some, you know, OG hot water heads out there who like came to the show and like, who is this nerd? You know what I mean? When they see me, I totally understand that. I mean, but I was just at least coming from a place of such respect for this band and these songs and these albums and what they mean to not only me, but what I know they mean to so many other people, that I had to try to do it justice. I had to try to bring it every night live to just, it's not about me showing people what I can do. It's about showing people like these songs are everyone's. These songs are mine. They're yours. They're of course they're this band's first, and but they're all of ours, you know. So, but no, I like I've never. If anyone's been nasty about it, it's never been to my face, so that's okay.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, good to hear. Um, oh, sorry, the Australian and New Zealand tour is coming up, and it's been a long time since you've played Down Under. How excited are you to finally return to these countries after such a long absence?
It's been a long time. Yeah, I think the last time either band was there was 2018
Oh, wow.
on different tours. So it's been a while. No, everyone's excited. I mean, for me personally, getting to do this with both bands is fun because it feels like, I mean, I keep saying it, but it is true. Like it does feel like my Venn diagram kind of tour, you know? I'm lucky that I got both groups of people there with me. So that'll be great.
Yeah,
And like, yeah, I mean, no one's bummed to go on tour in Australia, especially when where we're from is, well, at least where I live in Canada, is freezing cold. So you get to escape winter, but that is certainly beat out by the fact that coming to Australia is, it's great. I mean, people go off. The shows are always great. Bands are very well taken care of. You know, like the venues, bar staff, just like everyone involved. Like I think there is an innate understanding from everyone at the shows, either just as a fan attending or someone involved with putting the shows on, that like a great deal of travel has happened in order for any band to arrive and play. So I mean, touring Australia is really, it's its own thing, you know. And I've never been to New Zealand, truthfully, but I'm so excited to finally make my way there. I have friends from there that are just stoked that, you know, the bands are going, and it's, I know how beautiful it is just from like pictures I've seen. You know what I mean? So I'm like,
yeah.
I'm very excited to go there for the first time.
Oh, awesome. And as you said, you will be playing in both bands. What's that like? Have you done that before, like headlined with hot water music and then
We did it a couple months ago in Florida at a festival. There was a European tour, kind of like right after I started playing live with hot water music, that we did that. It's fun. I mean, it's a marathon. You know what I mean? Like there's a really beautiful part to it where like I get to just like live my dream, like just like play a guitar and sing for a whole night. You know what I mean? With a couple different bands. Not everyone gets that opportunity, so that's really fun. There's also like the realistic side of it where I'm on like a pretty like, the nerdy side of it maybe is like I'm on a pretty like strict like routine kind of like for you know, just like I don't know, it's there's just more to do. So everything I would do for one band I'm now doing twice.
yeah,
Just in like making sure I'm good for the show, warming up, the routine, like singing is a weird thing. So like I know a lot of singers like don't like, you know, the time you eat, like the time of day you eat is going to impact your set time. All these like kind of boring things. But truthfully,
Yeah.
it's more to think about in the preparation for the show, but the payoff is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Takes some talent and some skill, I think, to be able to do both, especially. That's insane.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Speaking of touring as well, are you guys pretty wild behind the scenes, or do you like to relax, chill, recuperate?
I mean, there's like funny things that happen, but like I think the wild years in terms of like the big partying on tour and stuff is like not like behind everyone, but like you can kind of see it in the rear view still, you know. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
I think it's just at a certain point, like everyone, like you get that kind of stuff out of your system. I think, at least in the people I'm talking about with Hot Water and the Flatliners, like I mean, getting this group of people together is really funny, and I think something that would surprise a lot of people out there, maybe more about Hot Water than Flats, because I think Flats have kind of worn a bit of our sense of humor on our sleeves over the years, but the people in these bands, and especially Hot Water Music, it might blow people's minds. I mean, is like everyone's really funny. So yeah, like it would really blow people's minds how funny Chuck Reagan is. You know what I mean?
yeah,
He's his forward facing identity as a person in music and you know like fit and fishing and everything like that is like his music's very serious. It's very much from the heart.
yeah,
You know, his job off the road is very serious, and he's very much into like conservation and all these things. These are like hugely important things to him and you know the planet. And he's fucking hilarious behind the scenes too. So it's cool to learn that. It was really cool to learn that over the years. And so like yeah, getting this group of people together is going to be really funny.
yeah,
Wild party nights. I don't know. We might all be a little too old for that now. I'm not sure. Australia does like kind of like bring it out in some people, I think, but I
yeah.
think I think we'll just be laughing our way through the tour.
Yeah, oh, awesome. It also helps, I think, if you can try and rest and recover a bit, it helps you to put on your best show. So,
Oh yeah, that is true. I mean, that is really what like at some point the focus does really become about the show.
yeah,
I just mean like when you start a band when you're really young, you get to travel the world with your friends. You're working on music all the time. You're playing music all the time. You're seeing the world in a way that like is so bizarre and so cool and beautiful and kind of unique in these things that like yeah, if you have any kind of you know part of you that wants to kind of party your way through it, you can do that for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
But you kind of like it can definitely get in the way of the show sometimes. It
Mm,
doesn't always. There's been years of you know evidence that proves that it doesn't always, but not only just with our bands, but I think at a certain point that is like a corner every musician that does it for like a living turns, and you're like, well, I mean, you know, maybe I'm not gonna go skateboarding after the show because I've been drinking, and then like if I break my wrist, like on this tour,
yeah,
both bands might be a little in trouble rather than just one.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, imagine.
yeah.
um, Hot Water Music is known for its high energy live shows. Are there any songs from the new album that you're excited to perform live or that you really love?
Yeah, I mean, I'm super stoked on the whole album, really. And we've been playing a good number of those songs live. I mean, Menace, the album opener, is definitely like a set turning point. And there are shows where we're like open with it, and the turning point is like immediate, which is kind of a redundant, like a silly thing to say, but it just like it shifts this energy in the room. There's something about that song. That's a definite like banger live. I mean, they're all fun to play. It's uh it's a really interesting collection of songs like that record vows just in itself, and then when you kind of pepper the new stuff in throughout a band's you know career spanning set of 30 years and a lot of different kind of musical takes and everything like that, it's cool. You know what I mean? It makes for a really cool show. And yeah, I mean, I think we're still learning how to play like some like relearning how to play some of those songs live. That's always part of the process that people might not realize is you write these songs, you record them, and especially in Hot Water Music's case, because almost everyone in the band is in another band. So
Mhm.
you're like you almost kind of drop that information once it's been recorded. Then like you're I'm off touring with the Flatliners, and George is in the Bouncing Souls, and Chuck has his solo thing, and everyone kind of comes back to the table having to like refill their brain with this information of like, oh yeah, this song. Okay, so we're gonna play this song for the first time live tonight, the new one. Okay, so I'm gonna relearn that song right now. I'm gonna sit with it. So there's a couple like there's a couple that I think we'll probably kind of go over on this tour. Um, but it's exciting. It's like really fun to like relearn that stuff and just like refamiliarize yourself with that thing you've just worked on. And it's a beautiful thing about like playing music is that it's always kind of there for you to rediscover. And for a band like Hot Water with this many albums and years in, the set list only the set list like can only improve and only benefit from like all those years and all those records. There's a lot of options, which is amazing.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And it sounds like you guys have something that appeals to fans, new and old as well, of every, you know.
Yeah, I think the guys in Hot Water. I mean, Jason is the kind of the guy with the master plan in terms of well, most things honestly with the band, but with the set list as well. And like I especially because of the 30th anniversary and the fact that so far in all the places we've been able to go on this 30th anniversary tour, we've been seeing a lot of people that have been there like almost since day one. It's pretty great. So I just you want to kick it back all the way to the beginning with some like old jams for the heads. You know what I mean? It's why not? Like the songs are awesome. It's
Yeah,
again, that's my fan hat first. Like they're
yeah,
great. So I think it's probably a different story for those guys. Like it's I'm looking at it as a fan first, and they're like, "You want to play this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, hell yeah, I want to play that." And then maybe with the other guys, like, I don't know, like probably played
yeah.
that a million times in their life. There's a different frame of reference. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think like this band has always done a really good job of like preserving their past and celebrating it while like always kind of like marching forward and like finding new musical ground at the
Yeah,
same time. It's cool.
yeah,
It's hard to
definitely.
do.
Yeah, that's it. And how did it feel to have so many incredible guests contribute to Vows, like Brendan Yates, Dallas Green, and Daniel Fang? Can you share how those collaborations came about?
Yeah, it was super special to have all those people there. I mean, the Dallas one was born out of just everyone knowing each other for a while, and the song that we kind of ended up with in After the Impossible, it just seemed to lend itself perfectly to a guy like Dallas' voice. Like his voice just gets like better all the time. Every time I see him live, it's better,
Yeah.
which is scary almost, you know? It's cool. It's really cool. I really respect not only like his talent and ability, just like pure human ability to like do what he does, but he's on the road all the time.
Yeah.
And it's just great. It's amazing to see. Um I mean that was a kind of a no-brainer. We were just lucky that he was available. He's a very busy guy, and then he was stoked. I mean, I think like to do it. He we asked him to sing on I think we asked him maybe to like do whatever he wanted, but we had one part of the song in mind really for him, and then he sang on the whole song, which was awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was great. And it ended up just so beautiful. And then the Turnstile connection was just that was so cool. I was luckily there for when Fang came to the studio in Baltimore, and that was kind of put together through Brian McTernan, who's our friend and produced the album and has produced many Hot Water records over the years. He produced a Turnstile record. He produced the first Turnstile record, Nonstop Feeling, and he's known all those guys for a long time. And I mean, Turnstile named their band after the Hot Water Music song, which we was something we learned,
Yep.
X number of months or probably years, actually, I should say, before we were even talking about maybe having someone from the band like guest on a song. So there's always just this like swirling possibility of like maybe something cool could happen.
Yeah.
And Fang came over, and yeah, he just like totally killed the extra percussion for that song.
Yeah.
Like it was just so it was amazing to see him work and like to hear that element that he brings to Turnstile, which is just like a dance influence and just like a roots kind of thing, and all these instruments you maybe wouldn't expect on a hardcore album that they pull off so well. To have him be the guy to come in and kind of like we wanted that. Hot Water's kind of done that stuff in the past too. There's like some drum circle stuff happening on older songs and everything, and it's always been a part of those guys' musical upbringing, especially with those early records. It was really cool to see Fang come in and like just like so cool,
Yeah.
so unassuming. You wouldn't ever think that this guy's in one of the biggest bands in the world, and seeing that band's like rise to success is just so cool. And then Yates coming into the fold was something that no one really saw coming. It was born out of Fang coming in and doing what he did. I think Yates and McTernan were hanging out one day, and Yates was kind of like, oh, maybe what about this kind of thing? He just had this spark. So everything that Yates sings through that song was his idea. No one kind of gave him that. He just took it and ran with it, which is, I mean, if I could put myself in their shoes, because I can, being a huge fan of this band before being involved, it's a pretty astounding feeling to be able to leave your mark on a song by this band,
Yeah.
you know. And not everyone gets asked to do that. Not everyone gets the opportunity to do that. So I know how maybe they felt when they were able to do it. And it's that's what music should be. You know what I mean? There is a lot of sometimes in the music world, and not only music, but it's, I think with the world in general, kind of drives people to just compete with one another. Whereas music is like, it doesn't need to be that way. It
Yeah.
can just be a thing that's celebrated. And it was, yeah, all the collaborations. I mean, getting the Thrice guys on a song to sing was something born out of a long relationship between the Hot Water guys and Thrice guys. And Interrupters, you know, Chuck has spent a lot of time on the road with them over the years. It's just like bringing these people in that we think like, let's just show the world what like every one of these people, like what we can all do together
Yeah,
to
definitely.
like unity about it. It's, yeah, it was really cool. And I mean, it's yeah, it's, it all kind of came together pretty organically and everyone improved. You
Yeah.
know, sometimes you never know. Like there is an element of making a record that is a bit out of your control. And when you open the door to other folks,
I know what.
um, you're asking them for a reason. So it's probably going to be great, but you don't know.
I know.
You never
Yeah.
know. And everyone killed it. Everyone improved the song. Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, it definitely works. They managed to just slip in there and yeah, make things sound even better if that's even possible.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Oh, Chris, I wish we had more time. I'm so sorry. But
No, it's
Hot Water
okay.
Music is touring down under, kicking off in Newcastle February 14th. We can't wait to see you there, Chris. Thanks so much. It's been wonderful to chat with you today.
Yeah, you too. Nice to meet you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much.